Shuddho buddho vimuktaha Sudishikaragiram mukhyatatparya bhumihi Yasmajjatam samastam Jagadidam amradadvyapya sarvam Sthido yaha Yasyam sham shavataraihi Suranaravanajairekshidam Sarvametad Tam bhumanam mukundam Hridikatamamalam Krishnameva prapadye Tam bhumanam mukundam Hridikatamamalam Krishnameva prapadye Madhya hridaya kashe Sadanandamayo Guru Udetu Satatam Samyak Swahatmananda Prabodhagaha Hari 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 Om Tats Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru. As usual, we shall have 3 times joint recitation of the auspicious monosyllable Omkara. This Omkara is a single letter word. You cannot even call it a letter. Mostly it is syllable. By reciting this, as I have earlier mentioned, there is biological benefit to the heart, lungs, etc. Then it also activates and gives health to the brain. What more do you want? So this chanting is very important. I am training you to chant, insisting upon you to chant so that you will make it a regular practice to chant Om at least 10 to 21 times a day at a stretch. Maybe before you go for commencing your work. For those people who are tied up to the houses like housewives, they can chant even after their whole cooking process is over, but before taking food. Interlock your fingers and put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect. Close your eyes. Open the mouth and heart and join me. Needless to say that all of you individually should have a sankalpa, a creative thought in your mind that this joint recitation should spread upon the whole earth, showering its benedictions on all creatures surviving on the earth. Let the minds expand. This will be your contribution to the welfare of the world at large. कार्पण्यदोषो बहतः स्वभावा
कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः
पृच्छामि त्वाम्
धर्मसम्मूढचेताः
यच्छ्रेयस्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् I have mentioned earlier also that Bhagavad Gita consists of 18 chapters. These 18 chapters are generally divided into 3 sections, consisting each of 6 chapters. The first 1 to 6, you will find Sri Krishna speaking like a teacher to the student. You will find he is mostly a teacher to the student. But from the 7th chapter onwards, there is a great difference. The difference is he always speak about a supra-human dimension about him. When you go to the 13th chapter, from there, altogether 6 chapters there, you will find very good jnana. All are components and constituents of wisdom. Everything is presented in a very mathematical manner. This is wisdom, this is wisdom, this is wisdom. It consists of 20 virtues. If these virtues are there, it is called spiritual wisdom. Otherwise, it's all ignorance, nothing else like that. And various psycho-intellectual dimensions are discussed from 13th to 18th chapter. You will be surprised that the human mind can have this kind of an attitude, this kind of an orientation and approach. See, he says, anapekshaha, shujir dakshaha, udasino, gatavyataha. Anapekshaha means not expecting or looking for anything. Can you imagine the mind can have this kind of an attitude? Shuchihi. At the same time, it is very, very clean and pure. Dakshaha. Extremely dexterous, clever, efficient. Can you understand the anapekshaha, not expecting anything. Clean in every way. At the same time, efficient and dexterous. Can these opposite virtues combine, you may wonder. But our mind is capable of rising to this dimension. Udasinaha, gatavyathaha. What is meant by gatavyathaha? No kind of pain or agony at all ever felt. Udasinaha. He will do everything, but his attitude will be one of udasinata, indifference. Maybe he becomes a parent, she becomes a parent, the child will be looked after, but in that looking after, normal parents will have a lot of possessiveness and suffering. That he will not have. Krishna also had children, and he was telling Narada Maharshi that, I have a son Pradyumna. he feels he is the most beautiful. Because he is very good looking, that good lookingness has become a point of pride and delusion for him. This is what Krishna says. Will you be able to look after such a child? But Krishna did. And he clearly understands that he is almost a narcissistic child. And so many other problems with others. But either in performance or in pursuit, they will be lacking on account of any of these disadvantages or disharmonies. Because spiritual wisdom is such that it trains you, it makes you an expert in harmonizing and integrating everything that is possible. So I would like to put it this way. Be in harmony with the worst of disharmony. You can be harmonious with the worst of disharmony. That is also possible. It is our mind. Our mind begins to grow when you become an adult. From that adult level, 21 years, you generally live for 60, 70, 80 years. Our retirement age is about 60. So from 21 to 60, at least 40, 39 years. And all the 39 years, the mind will be growing, growing and growing. Can you imagine the growth, extent of growth? So here, we are coming to the last verse of the 5th chapter, and we will enter into the 6th, where the science and art of meditation, meditational accomplishments, etc. are mentioned. What is spirituality? What does it bestow upon you? How you will look at it? What are the benefits you have? Will it also answer all the so-called religious considerations also? Everything will be answered. So the 6th chapter is a full answer for all questions about spirituality, philosophy, religion and yoga. Now I will recite this verse. I would like you to follow me afterwards. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shanti mrchadi. This is the last verse of the 5th chapter. Years back, a good Gita student, elderly in age, asked me, Swamiji, I would like you to explain to me what is the meaning of this verse. Why Krishna says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. I am the partaker and enjoyer of all yajnas and tapas. How can a Krishna be an enjoyer of all yajnas and tapas? By Krishna we mean a constricted person, a person with a body. If the body was not there, we never refer to him as Krishna. Is Krishna alive now? He is not. Because he shed his body when he was 125 years old. So it is the body that makes you an individual. And what is enlivening the body? It is certainly not a material or an energial factor. It is beyond matter and energy. Naturally, you cannot define it or describe it at all. All the vocabulary that we have, they are all made on the basis of matter and energy and their creations, their products. Whereas the other factor which is enlivening the Panchabhautik body, it is neither matter nor energy. So how can we explain it? We can only say it is not matter, it is not energy, therefore it is not thick, it is not stout, it is not thin, it is not blue, it is not white. We can go on negating whatever material description that you try to make. That in itself is indescribable. because it is different from matter and energy. But can there be a living body without that presence? Certainly not. So in the body, what is it that matters? Is it the Panchabhautik body, the material mass that matters, or the enlivening presence? If it is the enlivening presence, it is the same in all. And it has its own inexplicable qualities, excellences, potentials, possibilities. And it is the same for everyone. As I told you earlier, right in the 13th verse of 2nd chapter, Krishna clearly said, Arjuna, there was no time when I was not. Not only I, when you were not. No, further. Bhishma, Drona and the others were not. There will not be a time when we are not going to be there. What is this? That means body alone is born. Before the birth of the body we were as we are now in the body, and without the body also our existence will not be affected. So nobody is born. Krishna says, I was not born, you were not born, Bhishma, Drona and the others also were not born. And we shall also never cease to be. When the body falls lifeless, don't think the presence inside the body which was animating and activating it will become absent. It was present even before the body was born. So when the body falls also, it will continue to be present. It is the true existence. Existence will never become non-existent. So this is true of not merely me, said Krishna, it is true of you, Arjuna, it is true of all these people here. Will you stick to this point, my dear viewers? Or you will say Krishna is God, God, that's all. And escape understanding what he said. By calling Krishna God and deifying him, you are actually getting away from instructions and the obligation which the instructions thrust on you. You are all lazy. You are all idlers. You are not prepared to employ your mind and intelligence to understand the truth of statements. Nevertheless, I shall do my role. Am I dejected? I am not dejected, but I am sorry, no doubt. What is true of Krishna's body and the inner presence? The same is true of all of us. And he has repeatedly mentioned it. Many lives have gone for me, for you also. I know them, but you don't know. He has already said. What does it mean? Krishna was a human being. As a human, he is in all ways like all of us. But in the mento-intellectual plane, he had far greater magnitudes and potentials than we have. That is where real growth is expected to take place. The growth of the body is not something that we cultivate, help or otherwise deal with. Our mother feeds food, nourishes the body. Therefore the body grows. As in an animal, in a cat, in a fly. Exactly in the same manner our body also has grown after the food, after the nourishment we receive. The cultivation takes place not in the bodily level. When you take exercises and help the body to remain agile and active, it's okay. But there is no growth. The growth is facilitated by nature, led by nature. It is also arrested by nature when we become an adult. After that, the mind and intelligence will have to grow. If they don't grow, you are abnormal. With every day of life and experiences, we must be able to register a measure of inner growth, enrichment and empowerment. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shanti murchadi. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam
Bhoktaram yajna tapasam
sarvaloka maheshwaram
Sarvaloka maheshwaram
suhridam sarvabhutanam
Suhridam sarvabhutanam
jnatva mam shanti murchadi.
Jnatva mam shanti mrichati.
What does he say? Knowing me in this manner, one attains shanti, placidity, peacefulness, quietude. How should you know Krishna? Not as Devaki's son alone. Devaki delivered the body of Krishna. Yashoda fostered that body. But all that Krishna speaks, are they coming from the body? Certainly not. It comes from the mind, it comes from the intelligence. That part of Krishna nobody delivered. Devaki has not delivered. Yashoda has not fostered also. Why don't you understand this simple difference? So we have the body, then what is the other factor? What you call the self. The body and the self. Body is constricted. Body is restricted as we know. But the other factor is totally unconditioned by the body. It is unrestricted. Because of its subtle nature, it is all-pervading. It is still. No mutation or transformation of any kind takes place there. And it has all the qualities that you can imagine. And this is the truth with every jiva, every individual that is born in the human species. Even the soul of animals is the same. But they don't have the mento-intellectual duo to deal with matters as we are dealing with. That is the only difference. Life is the same. Inner presence is the same. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. I am the enjoyer of all the tapas and yajna that people are doing variously. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. I am again the Supreme Lord of the entire creation. Suhridam sarvabhutanam. At the same time, I am a benefactor, a friend of all. Whoever is able to know me in this manner, that man attains peace. So if you want to have peace, Krishna speaking as Guru to Arjuna, you should know me in this dimension. So I am saying not only here, in so many places in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes various kinds of statements which are similar to this. You know, there is the 10th chapter in Bhagavad Gita. It is called Vibhuti Yoga. And the 11th chapter is Vishwarupa Darshana. In the 10th chapter, Sri Krishna speaks quite a lot in distinct terms about what he is, what he is, what he is. So there is nothing special in this particular verse. In the 10th chapter, verse number 16, Vaktum arghasya sheshena divyahya atma vibhudayaha yabhir vibhudhibhir lokan imam stvam vyapya tishtasi. By the time the dialogue extended to the 10th chapter, Krishna has spoken quite a lot about the self. Right from the beginning he said, Sarvagadaha. This self which you refer to as the I is all-pervading, all-pervading. It is thanu, it is still because it is full. It doesn't kill, it does not get killed. Whoever thinks it kills and gets killed, they don't know the truth. They only suffer. All these things are very clearly explained. Arjuna still wants Krishna to say, Vaktum arhasya sheshena divya hyatma vibhutayaha yabhir vibhutibhir lokan imam stvam vyapya tishtasi. He says, my dear Krishna, you deserve to tell me what are the glories that you have. Atma vibhutayaha. Many glories you have. All of them you tell me. Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan imam stvam vyapya tishtasi. By dint of these glories, you are pervading the whole universe. And you still abide in your body. You are pervading everywhere and still you are abiding in the body. So abidance in your body is not contradictory to your extensive presence in all beings. So Krishna begins his answer. Hantate kathagishyami divyahya atma vibhutayaha pradhanyatha kurushreshta nastyamto vistarasya me. Krishna did not deny it. That is the beauty of a very, very clear instructor. If the Shishya raises a particular point, he will not strongly deny it. He will say yes and then explain it in his own manner. So he says, Hantate kathagishyami divyahya atma vibhutayaha pradhanyada kurushreshta natyando vistarasya me. As the world is endless, the glory of the self is also endless. All this endless variety and the varietal glory that you find displayed in the world, manifested in the world, where from has it come? It has not come from the body of anybody. If not from the body, it can only come from the self. So the self has got that kind of an infinitude, magnitude, potency and power. So my glories are really divine. They are not material glories. They are endless. Pradhanyada kurushreshta. I will tell you something important, those which are very important. Natyando vistarasya me. To give a full explanation of my glories, there is no end for my glories. I don't know whether my viewers will be with me when I say this. Is Krishna saying something very special, which is inaccessible to others? No, 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 a billion times. Every body in this world has got only a panchabhaudik material mass, and the rest is something divine and spiritual. Besides these two, no living being has anything in him. And the body is a material mass. The other is a spiritual presence. That spiritual presence is the same in everyone. Because it is spiritual and divine, it has got its own indescribable glory. There is no end to describe how extensive is my glory. And he begins to say, see, Ahamatma Gudakesha Sarvabhuta Ashayasthidaha Ahamadischa Madhyamcha Bhutanam Antayevacha. I don't think people all read these verses and they are satisfied to say Krishna is like that. At the same time, he says, many people sublimating their raga, dvesha and bhaya and with their mind sufficiently devoted to me have attained to my state. They have become like me. This also he has said. So Krishna's instruction to Arjuna was to become like him. What does a guru do in a shishya? Guru, by his instruction, transforms the disciple, not his body. Transforms his mind and intelligence, as a result of which both of them will be able to reflect the glory of the imperishable, infinite self. This is what the real teacher does. So he says, Hey Gudakesha, Aham Atma Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Sthidaha. I am the self, the body different presence. Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Sthidaha. Inhering, abiding, dwelling. Where? Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Sthidaha. I am dwelling in the thoughts and ideations of all creatures. Where from is idea proceeding, knowledge proceeding? There I am present. Aham adischa madhyam cha bhutanam antayevacha. Being present there, to be present there, I have to be most subtle. Because I am most subtle, instantly I am all-pervading as well. So many waves rise on the surface of the ocean. They are countless. But what about the ocean? The ocean is only one. Every wave, what is in the wave? Water. What is in the sea? Water. But in the sea you say it's all one water. But in the waves you find countless number of waves. But are there anything like countless number of waves at all? As separate, independent existences? Certainly not. It's all one sea. Aham adischa madhyamcha bhutanam antayevacha. In the waves, the beginning of the waves, the middle state of the waves, and also the end point of the waves. Is not the sea water present there? Aham adischa madhyamcha bhutanam antayevacha. Of all the beings, I am the beginning, I am the middle presence, and I am the end point, the dissolution also. Then he goes on describing several things. I thought I will draw your attention to these. Adityanam aham Vishnu Jyotisham Raviram Shuman Marijar Marudamasmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi. I am Vishnu among Adityas, sun among the luminaries. Of Maruts I am Mariji, among the stars I am the moon. So there is nothing special in the 5th chapter, and where he says, I am Bhuta Maheshwara, Bhoktaram Yatapasam. There is nothing special. He says, I am all these. Vedanam Samavedosmi, Devanam Asmi Vasavaha, Indriyanam manaschasmi bhutanam asmi chetana. Why is he referring to so many of these? So that you can trace him at least in one. Nobody is able to trace the all-pervading God. So we are making a number of temples, so that at least going there, you will have some touch and feeling. Actually, you have to go nowhere. What you have to do is, with realism, you have to think, you have to reason out. Vedanam samavedosmi devanam asmi vasavaha indriyanam manaschasmi bhutanam asmi chetana. You can catch at least one word from these and then pursue that word, that idea. Among the 4 Vedas, I am Samaveda. That is where the instruction is given to the disciple, where saying, Tat Tvamasi. You are that supreme which you are searching for. Whatever you refer to as I is that supreme presence. So close your eyes and realize it in your own heart. Samaveda says this. Devanam asmi vasavaha indriyanam manaschasmi. Oh. Senses we know. Of all the senses, what are the senses doing? They reveal the objects. In the same manner, mind is there, but within. What does the mind do? It reveals the thoughts, it reveals emotions, it reveals memory, it reveals reason. So just like the senses, mind is there. This mind is what employs the senses, uses the senses. So I am the mind. I am the mind. That mind is the supreme. Indriyanam manaschasmi bhutanam asmi chetana. In all the living beings, I am the sentience, the consciousness that expresses itself as life. Are you following me, my dear viewers? Understand that this is an enlightening discussion. It's an exposition. Whatever you are seeking and looking for, so many identifications are made. So you can pick up at least one or the other. Bhutanam asmi chetana. I am the consciousness which makes every being consciousness of itself and the others. Rudranam shankarasasmi vittesho yaksharakshasam vasunam pavakasyasmi meruhu shikarinamaham. I am Shankara among the Rudras, Kubera among the Yakshas and Rakshasas. Meruhu Shikarinamaham. Of all the mountains that have very huge peaks, I am Mount Meru. See, it is a very solid, earthy product. That is also myself, he says. Purodhasam cha mukhyam mam Vidhi partha brihaspadim senahaninam aham skandaha sarasam asmi sagaraha. Of all the priests, religious family priests, I am Brihaspati. Of all the army generals, I am Skanda. Among all the water bodies, what are the water bodies? Well, tank, lake, everything. He says, I am Sagaraha, the biggest water body called the ocean. Maharshinam Bhrguraham Giramasmyekam aksharam yajnanam jabayajnosmi stavaranam Himalaya. I have seen so many people quoting this part. Yajnanam jabayajnosmi. I also sometimes say. When I ask people to do congregational chanting, I always say, Yajnanam jabayasosmi, Krishna has said. This japa is the only ceremonial item in which any number of people can sit together and practice it at once. Suppose you start chanting Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All people can come and stand. If I ask them to recite Bhagavad Gita, they may not be literate enough to do so. But a simple chanting like Rama, Krishna, etc., everybody can do. And the japa is so involving that just like Ratnakara was completely overtaken by it, and he was covered by an anthill because his body was so still and started crawling there. They also made a hill. Only by japa. Here what is to be touched and affected? It's not the body, it is the mind. A japa will come only when the mind activates it. So in doing the japa, the mind is involved. And through the japa, you can still the mind. You can refine the mind. So, yajnanam jabayajnosmi stavaranam Himalaya. What is the greatness of India? We have our Himalayas. At one point he referred to Mount Meru, now he refers to Himalayas. Maharshinam Bhruguraham Giramasmyekam aksharam. Of all the words he says, I am Om, 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 Om. Chant that word. It's a combination of A, U and M. A plus U will become O and then M. Om, 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 Om. We have Mandukya Upanishad. Many of you do not know that the world, the proof of the world, is our experience of it. What? The proof of anything whatsoever in your life is your own experience of it. I say something is there on the basis of my experience of it. So what is the ground for any existence? Our experience of that existence. Our experience. We are experiencing the world. But when do we experience the world? Do we experience the world all the 24 hours of the day, 7 days in a week, and 30 days in a month, 365 and a quarter days in a year? No, 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 no. We experience the world only when we are wakeful and not asleep. Normally our wakefulness is 16 hours. Half of it we are sleeping. In sleep alone, sufficient cells will be built, energy will be stored, so that you can remain wakeful and active the next 16 hours. So we sleep or we are wakeful. We are wakeful or we are asleep. So in the wakefulness alone we see the world. So our experience clearly says that the world's existence is limited and conditioned. But we have two other experiences, the sleep and also the dream. The syllable A represents the wakefulness. U represents the dream. And represents the sleep. When you are able to combine all the three, you understand that there is something that reveals the three. Saying, I slept, I am wakeful, I dreamt. These experiences can only relate to an experiencer. So that the I is the fulcrum point there. Just like I told you, Yajnanam jabayajnosmi, giryamasmi ekamakshara. That Om, very, very powerful. You chant it, the whole mind will be involved, the whole intelligence also will be involved in the utterance and recitation, and you will find that the mind and the intelligence are led to a state of dissolution by chanting the Om dedicatedly with fervor. Ashwathas sarva vrikshanam, devarashinam cha naradaha, gandharvanam chitraratha, siddhanam kapilo munihi. Krishna is referring to all things, not only humans, the non-humans, the supra-human elements, then above in the celestial regions, non-humans also. He says, Ashwatthah sarva vrikshanam. I don't know how you will be appreciating these things, evaluating them. Of all the trees, I am the people tree, Ashwatha tree. Some people say the Ashwatha tree produces oxygen both during the night and day. You know, this tree grows everywhere, in strange places, upon the wall, on granite. Its root can go to any extent. That Ashwatha is a very, very important tree. Devarashinam janaradaha, gandharvanam chitraratha, siddhanam kapilo munihi. Ayudhanam aham vajraha. I think you have to contemplate upon this. Whenever you think of God, you always say, God, goodness, goodness. Then who is bad? Another God is there? Ayudhanam aham vajraha. Of all weapons, I am the vajra which Indra has. Dhenunam asmi kamadhug. Of all the cows, I am kamadhenu. Prajanascha asmi kandarpaha. Sarpanam asmi vasukihi. Amongst the progenitors, I am the god of passion, Kamadeva. That passion, that is also godly. Prahladascha asmi daityanam, I am Prahlada among the demons. Pavanaha pavatam asmi, Ramaha shastrabhridamaham, Chashanam makarascha asmi, Srotasam asmi Jahnavi. I am Rama, Sri Rama, among the weapon wielders. Of all the aquatic creatures, I am the shark. Among the streams, I am Jannavi Ganga. My dear souls, you must have the power of imagination. I am reading to you Bhagavad Gita, which transpired in our country more than 5,000 years ago. I think this is 5,162nd. This is second year. 5,000 years. And there he was making references to all these. Tell me, is not the Ashwatha tree considered to be very sacred? And every temple plants one Ashwatha tree. Something that Krishna referred to. That means he was not originating it. It was already there. He was only referring to it. How is it that we have our practical day-to-day link with these concepts? We have a habit of going around the Ashwatha tree after taking bath. Generally it will be in the temple. The temple lawn will have an Ashwatha tree. When Ashwatha tree is planted, 3 or 4 people will come together, hold it and then plant. Pavanah pavatamasmi Rama shastrabhridamaham. I am Lord Rama among the wielders, I said. Jashanam makarashasmi srodasam asmi jannavi. Of all aquatic creatures, I am the shark. Aksharanam akarosmi. Among all the letters, I am A. The sound that comes out of anybody's mouth, including animals, when they keep the lips open. Ah. You try to produce a sound keeping the mouth open. It can only be ah. And the sound that comes out when the lips are closed. Oh. That O represents all the intermediate sounds. That is how this Om is formed. Aksharanamakarosmi dvandva samasigasya cha. He goes to grammar and says, I am dvandva samasa. Ahameva akshayah kalo dhadaham vishwado mukha. Mrityuhu sarvaharashaham udbhavascha bhavishyadam kirtihi Sri Vakcha Narinam Smritir Medha Dhridikshama. So he is not referring to only the so-called divine and good things. He is referring to material sources also. And letters, words. I am the all-snatching death. I am fame, shame, women's speech, memory, intelligence and will. So when you are using your intelligence and will, are you not using God? Dhyutam chalayadam asmi. Of all the deceitful sources, I am the dice game. Vrishninam vasudevosmi. Among the Vrishnis, I am Vasudeva. Pandavanam Dhananjaya. I don't know whether you have imagination. Saying all these are I, myself. He comes to himself. I am the Vasudeva in the Vrishtikula. I am Arjuna, you are Dhananjaya. That Dhananjaya is also myself. The I in you and the I in me are not different. That is why all people say I. Muninam apyaham vyasa kavinam usana kavihi. For all the munis, I am Vyasadeva. Of all the kavis, poets, I am the Rigvedic seer, Muni. Ushanas, Dando Damahidamasmi, Nidirasmi, Jigishadam, Maunam Jaivasmi Guhyanam, Jnanam Jnanavatamaham. I am silence among all seekers, knowledge among the knowers. Many people do not know that silence is very powerful. Suppose somebody in your family, maybe husband, wife, children, anybody, you are not able to have any impact on that person. They don't respond. While quarreling, I always tell people, stare at the man gently, never speak. Stop your speech and look at him. When you start looking at him, he will start wondering what is in your mind and he will not get hold of it. The greatest effect is for staring. Silence, silence, silence. It has got immense power. Jnanam jnanavatamaham. The people who are knowledgeable, that knowledge is myself. Just like he said, of all the water flowing streams, I am Ganges. In the same manner he says, I am Jnanam Jnanavatam. I am the knowledge in the knowledgeable people. After having said all these things, you know what Krishna says? Yadyat vibhudimat sattvam Srimad urjidameva va tattad evabagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhava. Whatever is glorious, resourceful or powerful, all that, know that I am there, they are in me. Mama tejomsha sambhava. Everything is born out of my brilliance. Though he has spoken to several items, taking you up, taking you to the left, right, in the creatures, in the inert things, finally he says, whatever is good, great, glorious and resourceful, everything understand to be creations of my splendor. Athava bahunaitena kim jnatena tava Arjuna vishtabhyaham idam krishnam ekamshena sthito jagad. My dear Arjuna, there is no point in describing like that the real glory that myself, the self in me has. All the glory that Krishna refers to do not belong to his body. His body is Panchabhautik. If they do not belong to the body, they can only belong to the self. That self is present everywhere, in everyone. I am supporting this world by a part of mine. I am not using the whole of myself to support this body, only a very small part of it. What do you think of the full dimension of the I in everyone? This is India, my dear souls. Only in India a person can rise up to speak like this. It is the truth, it is the fact, it is not a fiction. Are you the body? No, you are not. You only have a body. If you are not the body, what are you? My body is matter, material mass. If you are not the body, you are not material. If you are not material, what are you? You are spiritual. Spiritual. That spirituality is unlike matter. Materiality has all limitations. Spirituality being different from materiality, it is free from all limitations. And what Krishna says, it is true of Arjuna, it is true of Sanjaya, it is true of everyone. There are only two factors here. One is the perishable body and the body different self. If it is different from the body, it is imperishable. If the body is born, it's not born, it's unborn. If the body will grow and die, it will be undying. Kadosmi lokakshayagrit pravruddho logan samahartumiha pravruttaha hridebitvam na bhavishyanti sarve evasthidaha pratyanikeshu yodha. Finally, while revealing the Vishwarupa, he says, Arjuna, I am the power and the process called time. This time, the passage of time, lokakshayakrit pravruddha, it is active to destroy the world. The world requires destruction also. Logan samahartumiha pravritta. I have come here to exterminate quite a lot of people. You think that you are going to be the cause of this huge war. Without you, I can destroy all the 4.5 million who are here if necessary. Therefore, my dear Arjuna, tasmat tvam uttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samardham mayaivete nikhadav purvameva nimitta matram bhava savyasajin. Therefore, my dear Arjuna, get up. You are a heroic, illustrious fighter, and such an illustrious fighter has abandoned his weapons and sitting on the chariot. Will ever fighter sit on the chariot, or he will stand up and fight? The chariot is for you to sit. Understand that I have already destroyed them. You are only to be an instrument. Do not pretend anything to be more. Do not pretend to be more. You are only an instrument. Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya avyayasya ja shashvatasya ja dharmasya sukhasya ekantikasya ja. Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya avyayasya ja. What does he say? I am the pratishtha for Brahma. I am the seat for the source of the abode of immortality, interminable in nature. For Shashvata Dharma also, I am the source, and for endless Sukha. Why I said this? Not only at the end of the 5th chapter, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, especially from the 7th chapter onwards, Krishna is describing about himself in many ways. This description, every one of them is true. Because in every human personality, you have either the elemental body, the material body, or you have the body different, inner presence. That inner presence is Chaitana, Chaitanya, sentience, consciousness. And that consciousness is what does everything in this world. You cannot describe it. You cannot perceive it with your senses. You can only comprehend it with your mind and intelligence. Satyena lebhyastapasa hyesha atma. Satyena lebhyastapasa hyesha atma. Samyak jnanena brahmacharyena nityam. Only by the pursuit of knowledge, you will be able to know it. So the question that person asked me many years back, Swamiji, why is Krishna saying this at the end of the chapter? So I could not get time. I said, Krishna has said so many things like this, not one. So I wanted to tell you that don't think that this statement is very unique and special. Krishna has spoken in several places. Anybody who is a seeker of truth and who seeks and does sadhana, when the sadhana is fulfilled, he can say like Krishna. Every teacher is capable of saying this. Now we go to the 6th chapter. The 6th chapter begins with a beautiful statement. Generally, the chapter begins with an inquiry from Arjuna. But here, Krishna himself speaks. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karodyaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na cha kriyaha. Recite. Anashrita karma phalam
Anashrita karma phalam
karyam karma karodyaha
karyam karma karoti yaha
sa sannyasi cha yogi cha
sa sannyasi cha yogi cha
na niragnir na cha kriyaha.
na niragnir na cha kriyaha.
The 5th chapter is named as Karma Sannyasa Yoga. He has already explained there what is the position, what is the inner pedestal of a knower of truth. He will always think and feel and say, Naiva kinchit karomi thi. I don't do anything at all. This is a fact of not merely a knower for everybody. The I in you doesn't do anything. Then who is seeing? Eyes are seeing. Who is hearing? Ears are hearing. Who is smelling? Nose. Tasting? Tongue. Touching? Skin. Is not the truth with everyone? You mean to say the single letter I, that is seeing, that is inside, it is different from the body. So the seeing process takes place where? It's only because of the eye. So the seeing is to be attributed to the eyes, hearing to be attributed to the ears, smelling to be attributed to the nose, tasting to be attributed to the tongue, and touching to be attributed to the skin, and remain free. Thinking to the mind, understanding to the intelligence, asserting to the ego, and be free. I feel it is very simple and straightforward. Here he says, Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karodyaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. The entire Bhagavad Gita is actually Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. The conclusion of every chapter is marked by this description. Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. So what is exposed in Bhagavad Gita is Brahma Vidya and equally the Yoga Shastra. What is Yoga Shastra? Samatva Buddhi Yoga. It is not yoga consisting of asanas and mudras. It is yoga applicable to the mind and the intelligence, where all the experiences take place. In the whole personality of yours, where are experiences taking place? I told you the body is jada, senses also are equally inert, so can they produce any experience? Say firmly no. So never relate the body in your experience. Experience is related to the mind. And the mind is not a part of the body, physical part of the body. So the yoga that Krishna refers to is yoga applicable to the experiential level, the inner. What is that? Samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatva to be practiced by the buddhi in the level of the mind. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Whatever effort you make, whether it attains fruition or not, you should not be affected or involved. I have explained it, I can explain it again. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karodhyaha. Not depending upon the results, the objective results of what you do. Whoever is able to do whatever is said to be done by him, whatever is expected to be done by him, that person is a sannyasi and yogi who practices this samatva buddhi towards siddhi and asiddhi, fruition and non-fruition. That person is the sannyasi, that person is the yogi, not the one who renounces all the rituals and ceremonies, takes up sannyasa or not take up sannyasa and then say, No, not at all. The sannyasa is actually the dispossession of every kind of possessiveness that you have. It is not throwing away things, getting away from the house. No. We take up sannyasa, people take up, it's okay. Because sannyasa makes it easy for them and compulsory for them to practice this samatva yoga. So who is a sannyasi? A sannyasi is one who performs all the activities he is expected to do, but without depending upon the transitory objective results they will bring about. So the entire sadhana has to be done in and through activity, and by moderating, sublimating, evenizing the mind. And the mind will be evenized only when it is interactional. Let me stop. Samvedya varjidam anuttamamekamahadhyam samvidpadam vigalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishtha kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan agartrapadametya samodida Sri. This is a verse Vasishtha tells Sri Rama. Kurvan agartrapadametya samodida Sri. Rama reached the state of non-doership. Remaining in that state, perform all the activities that come to be taken up and pursued by you. Refuse none. Be reluctant towards none. And where will you abide? Hridyeva tishtha. Abide in your own inner heart. Kalnarihida kriyam tu kurvan. Go on performing whatever is to be done without any agitation being confronted by you at any point of time. Samodida Sri, graced and glorified by the placidity your mind will generate by dropping desires and desireful concerns. My dear souls, are you with me when I say all this? You can treat your mind and make the mind so flexible, so benign, so resourceful, so much enriched and empowered that it can sublimate all kinds of emotions, doubts, ignorance, everything, and still be active comfortably in this world. This Rama ruled our country, and his Ramarajya is even now our ideal and goal. It's all a handiwork of Vasishtha Deva's instruction to him over a period of 18 days from morning to end in the palace of Ayodhya. Hari, Hari, Hari. We shall have the conclusional Omkara. Take your mudra for it. Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.